Hi all, this is Kevin Stewart, Builds 250. I'm Kev, and this is stage 32 of issue 10 of Build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. So stage 32 looks like it's going to be a rear wheel and some brake hoses. The rear wheel obviously isn't going to be too difficult to put together. The brake hoses, though, depending on where they're routing and getting amongst those pins, we'll wait and see how they go together and where they're going to be routed. But hey, hopefully not too difficult. We're going to have a quick look at the parts and check them off in the inventory, and then we're going to get into the build for stage 32. Okay, so parts laid out here for stage 32. The main part obviously is the wheel and the tyre. We've got some brake hoses, some screws and a little mounting bracket. So not a lot of parts, but hey, let's get into the build for stage 32. So the first thing it's asking us to do is assemble the rear wheel. So putting the tyre onto the wheel. So taking the hub, remembering of course it has got that valve, so be careful on that, make sure you don't snap that off. Just pressing that into the actual tyre. Turn it over, but when you're doing it over, as I say, be careful on that valve. And pushing the inner wheel in, lining it up with the screw holes. Lined up nicely, and then we're going to be attaching that with some CM screws. Okay, so that's the first part done, the wheel assembled onto the tyre. Okay, now it's asking you to attach some brake hoses to the left rear brake drum. I didn't actually remember to label or remember which one was the left one, which one was the right one, so I'm just going to have a quick look back at the magazine and see which one's the left and which one's the right. So that's probably a top tip, is kind of remembering which one's the left hand one and which one's the right hand one. Okay, so going back to stage 30 and identifying using the inventory which one's the left hand one and which one's the right hand one. The left hand one has it in that configuration, so it's got the, I don't know what you'd call it, but it has the nut at the top and then the other part to the bottom right of it, whereas the other one is the other way around. I don't know if you can see that. So the left hand one's that one where it's got in that configuration, the right hand one's slightly different. Yeah, that's the left hand one. But yeah, easier if it was marked on the outside, I guess. Okay, so I've identified which one's the left one anyway. But then doesn't look like the picture in the magazine. Okay, really frustrated with this at the moment. I wish they'd sort stuff like this out. It really is annoying when it shows 30F and it looks totally different from that picture to the picture in this magazine. I suppose there is a fairly simple way of sorting this out, because these are only plastic screws, aren't they? So let's take this off and I'll know once and for all which one's the left one. Yeah, that's the right hand one. It doesn't, so the picture, if you like, for me, in the magazine is wrong. Because that's the right hand one, it's got R written on it. So that is the left one, and it looks wrong in the other magazine. Yeah. So the inventory picture in stage 30 is wrong. Okay, so follow the picture that's in stage 32. Okay, well now that bit's sorted, let's get on. So all we're going to be doing first off is fitting 2 of these brake hoses, to these pins on the left rear brake pad, brake housing. Now I always open these little pipes up, tweezers, they really are not the easiest to go on if you don't. Okay, so the brake hose is fitted onto the brake hub, and now more balancing of the car. Okay, so the first thing it's asking to do is put on the brake drum with the hoses positioned inside. There is a little keyway. Quite difficult to tell which one's going where, which hose. Is going where? No, it's actually fairly impossible to tell which brake hose is going where. Because you can't see. No, it's not. It doesn't help because it doesn't actually identify in the instructions which one's which. But they both go under the chassis here. This one kind of goes round the shock absorber. And under the chassis as well, and then yeah, identifying which one goes where. It's just pot luck from what I'm looking at. Okay. Okay, so yeah, as I say, there was no real clear guidance on which one went where, which of these pipes went where. So, in the absence of kind of any clear guidance, just done them to where they fit. Okay, the next part is putting on this little bracket, and that's just going to be going, there's a little hole there. It looks like it's going to be going in. It's going to be quite difficult to get in, I think. Just kind of going in there. And that's going to be fitted in with a GM screw. Brackets in. shock absorber. So we've got 2 more of these pipes. These are going to be pushed onto the pipes on the shock absorber strut on this side. And then these are just going to go under this bracket that you've just put on, or thread through it. Okay, I think I need to tighten that up a little bit. Okay, so as a bit of a side note, I've looked ahead in the instructions, and what it says is that there's a long pipe that's going to go onto this part of the right hand one, and that's going to go onto there obviously, and the long pipe is going to go onto this splitter. The short pipe's going to go into that one. So what I've done is I've deduced, if you like, from that means that on this one, this pipe, to match up with the pipe on that one, is going to go onto there. It doesn't say that in the instructions, but that's what I'm going to do. So the one that's going onto that part of this left-hand brake drum, I put onto this splitter, and the one that's gone onto the bottom part, I put onto this splitter, and that's just to match it up really with the right hand brake drum once we put it on. I don't know if that's correct, but that's kind of what I deduced from looking slightly ahead in the magazine. So it can look like that. Okay, so the final thing we've got to do here is put on the wheel. So this has got a keyway, so you've got to kind of make sure that sits on the keyway, and obviously the wheel is going to just fit on top. So it's on top, fit the hubcap. Remember it's got the valve, so obviously the opening for the valve's got to go. And then it's just an LM screw. Just going to tighten everything up. Now, I do know people are saying that, well, the wheels don't turn, but I'm doing mine up really tight because I don't want the same issues that I had with the DeLorean, which was the wobbly wheels. I'd rather have him not turn because you're not going to push this around all over the carpet. It's going to be a static model mainly. So I'm not really that bothered about the wheel not turning at all. So I've just kind of, as I said, done mine up as tight as possible, so it's not going to wobble around. I'm not going to put that on yet, not until the other side's on and everything's done up, just in case I need to take this off again. Okay, so that's the wheel on. Okay, so the last part of this stage is to fit these pipes to the right hand brake drum. The long hose, as it says, which is 32G, is just going to be fit onto that part. And then the short one's going to go onto the other pin. Okay, so there we go. That's the final bit, and obviously the wheel is on for stage 32. Okay, so that's stage 32 wrap there. Pretty straightforward stage, to be honest. Just the problem with finding out the routing for those brake hoses from the brake drum to those splitters, and obviously identifying which of the left and right brake drum, slightly different from the picture that was in stage 30. So I just took it apart and identified which one was which, so 3 screws. So no major issues there. The chassis is coming together quite nicely. Can't be too much more to do on this, I don't think, on the chassis side of things. Probably just the other side, leaf spring, the wheel. And hopefully that will kind of be it for the chassis. and then obviously we're going to be moving on to the other parts of the model. So yeah, having said that, I've got stage 33 and 34 to do. They're part of this subscribers pack, so I'll be getting them done and uploaded onto the channel within the next couple of weeks maybe, so keep an eye out for them. And if you'd like to see the progression of this model, then please consider subscribing. If you'd like to be notified any time that a video goes live, then please just click the bell. But hey, thank you very much for watching. Hope to catch you again on the channel soon, and ta-da for now.